For 3 years, I lived in pure pain. I was on the way to the bar on a motorbike. Taxi decided not going that way, turned around, it hit me and my foot was broken in half. I'm sure they were going to amputate it there and then. A lot of surgeries. I think I had about 7 surgeries. They put the foot back together again and they sent me on my way. It was a very dark 3 years. I was drinking a lot, taking a lot of drugs, going out a lot. The top of my foot actually died. I can't really explain the pain that I was going through. I said, listen, mate, forget about that. Just take the foot off. I thought I was going to be scared, and I wasn't. It changed my life for the better. It made me realise I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was, and it helped a lot of people. It feels right when you help somebody else. It feels right when you spread positivity. You need to want to get up. You need to want to get out. You need to want to put your leg on. It's your negativity that's holding you back. It's nothing to do with the amputations. Any amputee out there, give it a go.
Would you get your leg back? Welcome to Turning Adversities. No, that's not even the name. That's right, we'll keep rolling. It was Turning Adversities into an asset, right, for a good year. And now it's Adversities to Asset. I'm just trying to clean it up, make it a bit fresher. So welcome to Adversities to Asset. And you... Is that it? Adversities to Assets.
It's your podcast, bro.
Well, at least I'm educating people so they know the brand. It's Adversities to Assets.
There we go.
And you have had some adversities and you've turned them into some assets.
It's correct, yeah.
And we even talk about it on the way up here, actually. Just, you know, you've got car parking space out the front.
Yeah.
And we'll dig into why as your story unfolds. But, I mean, let's start by giving you a little introduction. So you're fresh out of the Big Brother house. 2023, different house than usual. I've got to make an admission. I haven't watched the series this year, which is a shame. But obviously, it was a lot to catch up on before our podcast episode. And we've only just recently connected over the last week, right? Yeah. But I wanted to get you in fresh whilst you're hot on the press and get your story out because you've got an incredible story as well. Aside from Big Brother, you know, there's a lot of reality TV people that would come on podcasts, but all they're going to do is talk about reality TV, which is cool. And I want to dive into some of that stuff. But putting that all to one side, you've got about 2 or 3 stories on top.
Correct, yeah.
So looking forward to diving in. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, firstly.
No worries. So, I mean, we've got to start with the Big Brother stuff. We were just having a chat before we started rolling, and it was a bit of a whim, right? You hadn't really watched it.
So Big Brother, I've never watched Big Brother. Okay, I'm sorry to say it, but I've never actually watched Big Brother.
Did you tell them that when you were?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
wow.
I've never actually watched it before, and the reason I went on it is because when I lived abroad, I used to be an entertainer, sing a lot on stage. I had my own bar at one point. I was a singer, DJ, MC, things like that, and every time I would do something like that, people would say, you should be on Big Brother. You should be on... Well, they used to say Love Island when I was better looking, but yeah. Now it's more like, oh, you should have been on Big Brother. You be good on Big Brother. You be good on Big Brother. So at the start of the year, last year, I was watching Love Island and that Big Brother came up and I thought, you know what? I'll give it a go. I'll just give it a shot just to see, do you know what I mean? Just to see if I can even get into it.
And then what was it, like a video selfie interview, right?
Yeah, because I'm obviously after COVID, we don't go anywhere. We don't go into studios or anything like that, or even get into big places anymore. So everything was done over video to start with. I think the first 4 or 5 over video. So the first one was I just sent a video in. And then I got a call back from a producer. And then as every stage went, it got more and more real, but it was stretched over the whole year, which was really weird for me, you know, because I usually go and DJ in Ibiza for the summer. That's the thing I do. But last year, I didn't, because I was like, okay, I've got this far in the process here. I can't go anywhere now, just in case they call me to come back and do whatever. So it really did mess up my entire year. Yeah. But I got in.
Yeah, well,
didn't go until a week before I was going in that I got in, but I got in.
How many people applied?
So I was told at one of the meetings that there was over 75,000 videos that went in, and then they picked 35,000 out of that, and they auditioned 35,000 people.
Wow.
So yeah, to get down to the final 16. So
well
thumbs
done.
up.
And look, I don't want to make this about me or anything, but I just want to relate, because I think I've shared this on another podcast. So if anyone's listened to that, they'll know. But I went into it in a little bit of detail. But I went through that exact same process. So I applied, and I think it was in 2018. And it was the last year on the Channel 5, so whenever that was. And I did but it was actually when it was in person. So I did the selfie, I got through that. Then I did the in person, and that was actually quite ruthless. People were just getting told, you're off now. And it was like this whole stage of challenges,
Right.
basically.
Okay.
And I kept on getting through, and I was buzzing. I loved it. To be honest, that day is probably one of the most exciting days of my life, just because it was like this competition. Absolutely loved it. And the people around it, you wouldn't have got it online, I guess, but the people around me was just incredible. It was the most unique people I've ever met in my life. You've just got this pair of like annoying twins over here. You got this like huge, scary guy over here.
Yeah.
You know, you just got everyone and every personality all in one room. Crazy. Anyway, I kept on getting through, and there was some quite difficult challenges to get through. Like, for example, there was one challenge where you had to have a debate about something. You'd know about this. It's the kind of thing they do in the house.
Right.
But you had to have a debate about something, and then they actually voted for someone to leave the process. And
Exactly the same as happened
And they
in mine.
voted for me, and they told me to leave. And as I was walking out of the room, they said, "You're the one that's actually through, and everyone else was out."
No way.
And I was like, and I just thrived at it. Anyway, they called me up. I'd moved to Bali. They called me up and they were like, "We are seriously considering you from the show, but you got to come back." And I flew back from Bali. Then they just don't hear from them, do you? For like another couple of months.
Yeah.
They call you on a private number again. You're like, "Hello." They're like, "Oh my god, I'm still back in the race, back in the race." And they were like, "You're going to the next stage." And I saw the executive producers, a psychiatrist. I even had a home visit. Some guy come around and met my mum.
No way.
Had a cup of tea with her. Honestly.
Just to make sure he was all right.
Yeah. And then they told me what hotel I was going in. It was 3 days before. What clothes to wear. Don't wear these brands. 3 days before. And then they just rang me up and they said, "Oh, Channel 5 have changed your mind."
Wow.
I swear to God. And do you know
Wow.
what had happened? It was because it was that year that the coronation, I don't know the exact names of them, but it was a Coronation Street guy had like tapped some woman on the shoulder or something.
Okay.
And it caused this big thing in the
I
newspaper.
remember that. That was a celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah, just before. And I think they went, "Hold on a minute, we're about to put a convicted criminal with mental health problems in the house." Don't.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, when that psychiatrist chat came up, what was that? What was that like? I mean,
Well, I managed to manipulate them to pass it, I think.
I'm okay now.
I remember looking at their card as well, because they have like these cards. Obviously, online you might not have seen any of this stuff, but I looked on my thing and it had reformed entrepreneur was my identity.
Right.
But I was only out of prison 3 years before that, so this was, I can understand why they didn't let me in. I'm surprised they got that far.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that's quite surprising to put that far. We had all the checks like that as well, the DBS checks, obviously the prison checks, all that sort of stuff, and the psychiatrist had a chat with us and whatnot. But just just thinking about that actual, because that's the one I watched when after I found out I was going in, or I got so far, I started watching clips.
Yeah.
And that's the one I watched, the last one that was
Final
on.
one.
And I think you'll be glad that you didn't go in, because it was a madhouse. Like,
Was it? Yeah.
Compared to what happened on ITV last year, like the first one back, it's very different to what it was, especially on Channel 5. It was a lot of screaming, a lot of arguing, a lot of shouting. I think we had like 2 arguments in the 6 weeks we were there, and they were both me, unfortunately. But, do you know? But I mean, that it wasn't that sort of a house. It wasn't like a. I think it was. Back on Channel 5, it was more like an influencer sort of thing. It was like, if you want to be famous, if you want to be an influencer, if you are a big character, then we're going to put you in there. And all of that together is a lot like, I need the limelight here and all that. And it was a lot. It was a bit too much, I think, and I don't think it worked. So I think the way that ITV did it, and they just put people in that, they asked us if we wanted to be influencers or if they wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
And it was a no from me. It was like, no, not really. I like DJing. It's a nice platform for me to carry on.
I think that's my problem. I think I said I want to be a star.
Well, you're getting there now, aren't you?
Fuck you, Big Brother. I will take Celeb Big Brother if you want to offer it to me there.
Oh, that'll be next for you, there, 100%.
Yeah. But no, fair play for getting on, mate. Because 85,000 out of and how many people go in?
16.
16. So I mean, it shows.
So 35,000 people were auditioned. 75,000 videos went in. 35,000 people auditioned. 16 people went in. So I'm pretty proud of that.
I'll go for the 85,000.
Yeah, well, we'll call that. It's funny as well, like you said with your, the audition you had, and it was like you had to get voted out and whatever. And you had debates. There was a couple of funny times in my audition when they had debates, and I think this is probably what got me through as well. There was a debate on whether an influencer is a real job. And I argued that it wasn't, and everybody else argued that it was.
Right.
And I was on one side of it, and everybody was on the other side. And then, throughout my argument, I had made it so that people had crossed over from that side of the room to my side of the room thinking, actually he's right. He's actually right. Because I was saying that influencer, it can be a job, obviously, but I don't think it's a job title. I think you are more into marketing if you are an influencer. You know, you're selling items for other people. You're marketing. It's not really... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, do you think influence is a job? Or is it marketing?
Interesting one.
Do you know what I mean? If you've got a massive following, I understand it's hard to build a following. Okay, it's hard work to get there with the numbers and whatnot. But I mean, the actual, that is work, but that's not the actual job. The actual job, what you get paid for is to sell other people's products. So you are just...
I'd say the influence is probably the label that you'd stick on it, but it's got loads of things underneath the surface that people don't know about, all the collabs.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, you're selling something. Otherwise, you wouldn't be getting paid money. There's no point influencing people for the sake of it.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was the conversation I had, and I'd bought a few people from the other side of the room, and I think that's probably one of the things that got me in. Nice. And it was another one as well when it was a yes or no question, and it was like, oh, do you wash your leg in the shower? Do you wash your legs in the shower? That was it. And everybody was just like, well, we're going to skip past that. And I was like, whoa.
Hang on a minute.
Whoa. Sometimes I wash my leg in the garage. But WD-40, do you know what I mean? Or in the sink, yeah. And the producer laughed his head off, and I think that was another reason that, you know, that got me through that.
Do you think also there was a way of sort of modernizing it with today's culture of diversity and things? Because I know there was a lady in a wheelchair as well that went in,
yeah,
right?
That's Kerry. So yeah, Kerry has got MS.
Okay.
So she was in there. We had Yinren, who was from China. Okay. So she'd only been in the England for like 2-3 years, I think it was. So
in the England?
In the England? I don't want to go. Wait a minute. In the England. Do you know what it is? Because I don't live in this country usually, so I call it the England. No, so yeah, Yinren was from China. She had only been in England for about 2 or 3 years. And yeah, there was some very interesting people. Jordan, the winner, he was a barrister before, a trainee barrister before, you know. Henry was a food critic from a very posh background. Okay. And then you've got me, who's a DJ from Ibiza, Tenerife, do you know what I mean? What
was the age? And the age range was good as well.
All over the place.
All like under 25s usually.
Yeah. So
30 max maybe.
Me, Farida, Kerry were the oldest ones. I think Kerry's 40. I'm 39. Farida was 40, I believe. I don't actually know how her age was, but we're the oldest ones, yeah.
So has there been any stats yet on how this one went compared to old school ones, and if people like loved it or was like, I shouldn't have brought it back? Do you know any?
I don't know any stats on it, but the general consensus is that they did a brilliant job with casting this year. I mean, that was the main focus when it came out. It was like the casting was brilliant this year. It was they really did pick people from all different walks of life, and it wasn't just like it was before with like just people trying to be famous.
Yeah.
I think you could tell that nobody in there went in there to be famous. We just went in there for the experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's it got us some brownie points, I think. And then, you know, being a part of the first one, nobody knows how it's going to go. You know, it's like, it's hit or miss. They don't know. ITV didn't know what was going to, they were like, oh, we'll try it. We'll give it a go. And I think they hit the mark. And I think it's something to build on from now. But being a part of the first one's always great.
Yeah, I bet that was fun. Do you know what? I've always had I don't mind admitting this, I've always had the dream of the sliding doors of Big Brother. You know, like that is my, I don't know why. Like no matter, I've done some similar things and some successful things. Some would argue better, some would argue worse, whatever. But I just want them doors. I just want them doors.
To be fair, going into the Big Brother house, it was an experience. And you are right. The sliding, just that first bit when you get up there and everybody's like, yeah, go on, you're like, yeah, and it's a whole new sort of thing.
Yeah.
I can't explain it because I've never been famous, but I've been well known. So when I lived in Tenerife, I was well known in Tenerife for being a singer, a DJ. I did videos when I lost my leg in Tenerife that the whole community banded around. And
you just dropped a bomb for people that don't know you right then. What? We're talking about Big Brother.
One leg. But
we'll come on to that in a minute.
I've been well known as in that people have come back to see me on holiday and all that sort of stuff. But when you get out of that car and you walk up there, you feel like £1 million. Like people are like, yeah, you know what I mean? They're like these are Big Brother super fans, and they can't wait to see what you do. And obviously, I dropped a rap.
Wood?
Pardon?
Is it still in Boreham Wood?
It's next to a McVitie's factory. I don't actually know where it is. It's next
It
to
used
the
to be like
McVitie's
not far
factory.
from where I lived back in the day in Boreham Wood, and that's just where they. So, do you
But
know if it's the same house?
I don't know if it's the same one or a different one. Again, I've never watched Big Brother.
Right, fair enough.
But it's next to a McVitie's factory because you can smell cooking biscuits every day anyway.
Worst things to wake up to smell.
100%.
So tell us about the experience in the house then.
So in the house itself, it was brilliant. From what you see, I've not even watched it back. I'm going to be honest with you.
Really?
I don't think anybody's watched it back. Like we've got a group chat and nobody's ever actually said they've watched it back.
It's quite a lot to actually commit to, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a lot to process. I think you have to. I think we have to get past it and get.
I would. I think I'm too narcissistic.
Not straight away though.
I would.
You reckon?
I'd be my biggest fan. I'd be voting even though the lines are closed.
Yeah. No, I can't. I haven't brought myself to watch it back. And you are right. It's 4 weeks of every single night. So yeah, it would take me a while to do it. But I forgot what I was talking about then. What was I saying?
It's general experience.
So in the actual house itself, me personally, I had a ball. Everybody in there had a laugh. Do you know what I mean? We enjoyed it in the house. But the edit, it's a whole different story. Do you know what I mean? What people saw when I came out, people were like, "Oh my God, you look so miserable." And I was like, I wasn't. I was really happy. Like, I didn't see you smile. I was like, well, they didn't show me smile. Do you know what I mean? Every time I seen you was arguing about something. But that's just the edit. And that is something you've got to deal with when you come out. Like, because people believe that's you. Do you know what I mean? Like, people believe that edit is you. And it's like, are you for real? Like, so obviously, I'm not grumpy 24/7.
Forever. Yeah.
Dylan the Villain was actually trending on Twitter.
Wow.
For a while, which is brilliant. I mean, any press is good press apparently. Yeah. But I'm not a villain. Do you know what I mean? I didn't go in there to be a villain, and I think the two disagreements I had were really, really silly. Like one was over chicken, which is why I'm called Chicken Dylan.
Chicken.
One was over chicken, and the other one was just a case of, listen, we hadn't eaten properly for 2 days, and we've been up all day. Do you know what I mean? It was just a long one, so I lost my rag. But
also, that someone has to be the villain. And who was you comparing? Like you said, you've got these, political people and old lady in wheelchair. I mean, someone's got to play it, and a big lad like you.
Yeah, and that's what it is.
He's probably going to be a good.
And that's what it is. And that's what it is. Like I read a few things online, and it was like, oh, Dylan's aggressive and Dylan's thing, but I'm not. You see, I'm just moaning the same as everybody else in the house moans, but because I'm a big guy and I've got a bit of bass in my voice, I sound more aggressive when I'm moaning. If I'm hungry, I'm like, oh my God, there's no food. I sound more aggressive than everybody else there. Yeah. So it just comes across as me being, he's aggressive. Do you know what I mean?
So you mentioned earlier before we started the episode that you came out to booze. So were you not expecting that?
Not at all. No,
so you thought they were going to be like...
No, I didn't think they were going to be like, oh, Dylan, but I didn't expect the boo. Like, it was madness. Did
it hit you?
Not really. I'm not fazed by that sort of stuff. Like, I was just like, all right, then whatever. I was literally, if you see my picture, it's just like, I don't even know what you're on about. Yeah. And when I sat down and had the interview, I sat there and I was like, am I the bad guy? Like, I don't even understand what's going on. And then, they talked to AJ and Will, and they explained, this is what we've seen. Can you explain this? Can you explain that? And I thought, wow, okay, so you just showing the real bad parts of me here, which is, what you signed up for, I suppose. You can't control the edit, and it's one of them things, but there we are. It is.
How's it been post Big Brother life?
I've really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. Load more followers on the Instagram. As you've seen, how me and you got together doing the DJ reels, you know what I mean? I really love DJing, and I like connecting with different people like yourself. Other people that I've connected with, I've got more connections now. I'm working with big names like DJ Luck and MC Neat. I've connected with other artists that I've seen have given us support while we was in there. Like there was one artist called Red Rum Music who made a TikTok about our eviction, because our eviction was the first one that was shown on ITV1. So everything else was on ITV2.
Okay.
And our eviction was the first one shown on ITV1 because it had gotten so big. It was 3 million viewers.
Oh, so they just put it over.
So they put it over to the proper ITV for our eviction. That was the first one, and there was a lot of hate online, and it wasn't just for me. It was for Paul as well. Paul had been branded a bully, and it was a lot. There was a lot to process, but there was a lot of hate online. And there was one young lady called Red Rum Music who had put a TikTok up, and she was like, listen, bullying's not okay. These were fine in the house and blah, blah. And I contacted her. Turns out she's a really good songwriter, rapper herself as well. So we're working on music. Cool. So those sort of connections, real people, love that. And
you live in the celeb life now. You just said you could be put up in a hotel for a couple of nights, going to a premiere tomorrow.
Yeah, sort of. So, it's not like... I'm not making any more money. Let's put it out. We're not making any more money. There are more opportunities when it comes to DJing and when it comes to brands and stuff like that. You know, I get sent lots of clothes. I get paid to do little videos for people, little posts and whatnot. But the celeb life is not, I don't know, you know yourself, it's not really it's not all glitz and glamour, is it? I mean, it's fine. I love it. Today, I've come down to London. They've put me up in a nice hotel. They've given us a voucher for food.
That wasn't me, by the way.
No, it was.
I'm tight. You ain't getting fuck all for it.
The company put us up in a nice hotel. That was a Hard Rock hotel before, I believe. So it's got all the guitars and all that. It's a nice suite. We've got food and that. We've got backstage passes. That's all beautiful. It's all lovely.
Tomorrow you're on to premiere and things like that.
Yeah. Tomorrow we're going to the Marvel premiere to go and watch Echo. Yeah, and these things are nice. But as I said, I didn't want to be famous. Do you know, I didn't go in there to be famous. I went in there to make different connections and just move forward with music, which is what I can do now.
So you're going to get a lot more people respond now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there
and
it
thank
is.
you for making my mix as well.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. Check out my mix, guys, on Dylan's Instagram. What is just plug your Instagram quickly.
It's an amputee abroad.
An amputee abroad.
Yeah, like an idiot abroad.
Right. This is a good segue to talk about amputee, because you did drop a bomb a minute ago, and that is part of your Adversities to Assets story. And, you know, I don't want to say one of the reasons you got on Big Brother, but it would have given you an edge, right?
100%.
Interesting part of you, memorable. So tell us how that happened.
So I was living in Tenerife, 2014, and I just opened my bar. So I'd gone with 2 partners, and they'd put the meal up for the bar for me, and I was well excited. We called it Dylan's Bar, and it was open.
Wow, Dylan's Bar.
Yeah, it's still there now, actually. Los Cristianos Dylan's Bar. It's still there, yeah.
Cool. Well, someone bought it or something?
Yeah, my partner bought me out of it, and him and a young lady called Donna now.
And he didn't even change your name. It's just
Nah,
like Dylan's
nah,
legacy.
we made it into Dylan, so it's just Dylan's now. That's how it is. But yeah, so we just got the bar together, and I was on the way to the bar on a motorbike, come across a roundabout. Taxi went this way. I've gone round a roundabout. Taxi decided not going that way. Turned around, hit me, T-boned me, and crushed my foot.
You was on a motorbike.
I was on a motorbike, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, despite what people said at the time, I wasn't wearing flip-flops or shorts or anything. I had shoes on, I had jeans on, I had a jacket on. It's just, it hit me and my foot was broken in half. So if you imagine your foot like this, the top part of that there completely snapped in half. Ow. So what they did, they rushed me to hospital and they put the foot back together again. Now, I'm sure they were going to amputate it there and then, but luckily enough, Candelaria Hospital is a university hospital in Tenerife. Okay. And there was a doctor there from Madrid doing a lecture on tendons, hand tendons, which is the same thing you've got on your foot. And he was like, don't chop it off yet, I've got an idea. And he put something called a vacuum pack surgery on my foot. So they literally put it back together again. They let all the skin die. And then they cut all of the skin away, everything that was bad, they cut it all away, and they left it bare. It was like a hole where my foot was.
Wow.
Pinned all the bits of bones back together again, and there was a big hole on top of my foot. And then they put a sponge, which looks something like the sponge you've got behind you there. Right? Yeah, the sound sponge there, sponge. They put that on top of it, wrap it up in plastic, like cling film plastic, but really thick. Cut a hole in it, and then they vacuum. It's like a big thing that just sucks constantly.
Sounds like some dodgy Thailand fucking operation or something.
It was so weird. I was in the hospital for I think I was in hospital for 3 or 4 months while it grew back. So I couldn't move. I was in a hospital bed. But they put this vacuum thing on it, and it just sucked the blood to the top, and it grows your foot back.
At the time, was you kind of just blasé? I just broke my foot.
Yeah. So at that time, sometime I was down. It was a long time in hospital. My window looked onto a wall. Didn't see the sun. I lived in Tenerife. I was very pale when I came out.
Yeah.
It was hard. The very first time I was in hospital and that happened, it was hard. But good community of people in Tenerife. A lot of people come and visited me and whatnot. My girlfriend at the time was very good. And I got through it, you know what I mean? Like, they put the foot back together again. It was a long time in hospital, a lot of surgeries. I think I had about 7 surgeries. They put the foot back together again, and they sent me on my way. For 3 years, I lived in pure pain.
Right.
So they put the foot back together again, but it never actually worked properly. The big toe was fused. So the big toe was fused straight, so it didn't bend.
Right.
So that in itself gave us problems when I was walking.
Right.
The top of the foot would swell up when it was too hot, which it always is in Tenerife. And then if the temperature dropped, there'd be pains inside of it. I can't really explain the pain that I was going through, But it was a very dark 3 years, and that's when I started drinking a lot. I broke up with the girlfriend I was with. I was drinking a lot, taking a lot of drugs, going out a lot. Do you know what I mean? And that probably had something to do with the fact that the top of my foot actually died. So the top of my foot, where they put it all back together again and whatnot, it had died. Now, when I went to the hospital one day,
how did you? You had to tell us how you knew it was dead.
So I was in pain all the time, constantly, and we went out for something. I think it was one of my mate's birthday, Scott's birthday. It was. We went to this tree swinging thing where we swang from trees in zip lines and things like that. And then we'd got back, and I thought, I'll have a little nap before I go to work. And I tried to get up and put pressure on my foot, and I just couldn't. I was just like, oh my God, what's happened here? Couldn't put pressure on my foot, Had a friend come round. They were like, we're going to have to take you to the hospital. I couldn't even get up to get in the car. I was hurting that much. So they called an ambulance. They come out, stretchered me out of the house, took me to the hospital, and they did the checks. And what they'd said is the way they put the foot back together again, your foot, okay, it's got 2 arteries at the top and there's 1 artery at the bottom. And that's what feeds your foot. There's a large artery at the back and there's 2 arteries at the top. The 2 top ones were cut, obviously, because my foot was broken in half. And they thought that the bottom one would feed the whole foot, which obviously it didn't. So the bone inside had now started to decay. But over that 3 years, that's what the pain I was feeling was. But they didn't. They couldn't figure it out. But when it came to the surface, obviously the decay came to the surface. They'd figured out, okay, it's the bone that's dying. So what he said to me was, Mr. Tennant, we're going to cut that top bit of your foot off again. And I was like, here we go again. Am I going to be in here for another 6 months with this vacuum machine? I said, listen, mate, forget about that. Just take the foot off. And he goes, wait, you can't say that. You're going to have to. I'll talk to anybody you want. Just take the foot away. So it was made.
That's something you'd already thought about.
Yeah, I think throughout the 3 years when I was going through this pain, always in the back of my mind, I thought, I'm going to lose this foot. Do you know what I mean? I'm definitely, it's going to have to.
Did you research other alternatives? And
I didn't, right? So I looked into having prosthetic legs. To be fair, what I'd researched is not what they did, because my ankle still worked. So I thought they would just chop the front of my foot off and I would have a prosthetic bit of foot. So I was looking more into that direction. And then when I got there, when I looked into that, there was a lot online about how it wasn't very comfortable. You couldn't really get shoes to fit properly for you. There was a whole different range of problems that came with just having your foot off compared to having half of your leg off.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So when I started looking into it properly, I'd noticed that you can get different feet that had like different shock absorbers and that, so you can still run. You can get a prosthetic blade so you can still run. There's a lot of other things you can't do when you just have your foot taken off. I mean, there was no more running for me if I just had my foot taken off.
Yeah.
So when I got to that point, it was okay. We're going to do this, and I said no. I want it taken off from here. So yeah, I had to.
Is there any other benefits of getting it higher? Is it like chop the thigh off, chop the balls off, keep going?
So above the knee is, I would say, worse. The people I've spoken to who have got above the knee amputations have a lot of trouble with them. It is worse. It's harder without a knee. I think as amputations go, below the knee is probably the easiest one to deal with.
Okay.
It took me 2 months and 2 days to walk again. So that's good. I think that was more to do with the fact that in Tenerife, they start you on physiotherapy literally the day after your amputation.
Okay.
So before we get into that, so we had the foot taken away.
Yeah. Just the foot or the below the...
So below the knee. So we had below the knee. I went to 2 psychiatrists and I spoke to them about it. And I said, listen, just take it away now. I'm sick of the pain. Let's get it done. They booked me in for it. Now, I'm sitting in a hospital bed now knowing that I'm going to get my foot taken off. I'm going to get a below the knee amputation. So I start researching properly now. Okay, let's have a look what's going on.
Double check.
After I've already been through it, make sure we know what's going to happen. Let's have a look. So me at that age... 2017 this was, I thought I'll look on YouTube like I do for everything. Do you know what I mean? I look on YouTube. There wasn't even TikTok then, I don't think. Do you know what I mean? People look at TikTok now. I'll look at YouTube. YouTube, what happens when you lose your leg? I think there was one other person on there, Amputee OT, I believe she was called. And that were the only videos I've seen that had any sort of information on amputations and whatnot. And I thought, this is no good. She was American for one, so it was nothing like our system whatsoever. So there and then I decided, right, I need some way to get through this. I used to do little vlogs before. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna vlog everything that goes on. So I picked up a camera that my brother had bought me before, and I stuck it in my face, and I said, right, my name's Dylan. I'm a DJ here in Tenerife, and I'm about to have my foot amputated. And it went from there. And there are videos from a week before I had my foot amputated all the way until I walked again, nearly every single day. Videos are online. It's called
all the way till you walked out of the Big Brother house would be the next part.
That should be the next part. Yeah, but the videos that are online are just literally from there to me walking again, and then there are a few videos of me going on holiday, because how the hell do you go on holiday when you've got one leg? Because I didn't know how to do it. Do you know what I mean? Do you put my leg in the thing? Did I take the leg off when you go through security? All these sort of things you need to know. I started doing.
That's amazing that you.
And just for that. Let's call it week before, 3 months. Let's call it 3 months. For them 3 months that I did those videos, all right, yeah, I was in Tenerife, and for the 3 months I did those videos, everybody in the whole of Tenerife was behind me. They were like, oh my God, look at this. He's getting his leg chopped off and he's happy, because they were positive videos. There was nothing negative about it. It was like, I'll get my leg chopped off. Let's have a look what this goes. And there were videos on how to stay positive when you're in a hospital bed for so long. What do I do in a daily routine when there's nothing to do when I'm looking at a wall? What are my expectations? Do you know what I mean? What have I researched? What's going to happen? All these sort of things that weren't online, I put into these videos. And I think the positivity part of it came through to where the whole of Tenerife were happy. And it's really weird to say that, but people told me after, there was like, people were just happier because they couldn't have a problem. Like, if you understand, like, you can't be miserable about something that's irrelevant when your mate is in hospital losing his leg and he's smiling. True. So just for that short period of time, everybody in Tenerife didn't have a problem with anything. Everybody was like, you know what, Dylan's smiling, mate, so I'm smiling. And it was a really, I don't know, uplifting thing from the community, and I loved it. I loved they gave back to me, I gave to them, and yeah, it was an amazing time. I can't explain it. But just being positive through that whole situation that was in helped so many other people. And
was there a moment that you decided I'm gonna make sure I stay positive through this, or was it just there from the start? Or
I don't think I had a choice. I think that is one of them fight or flight responses for me. I think I could either be positive and get it done, or I could be miserable and probably still be miserable now. I think it was one of them. It was like, right, I'm going to get my leg chopped off. Yeah. But am I going to let it affect me this way?
It could have been just
or am I going to let it affect me this way?
Pissed up in the corner of the bar.
Exactly. Whinging about it.
Yeah.
Or am I going to do something like, okay, look, let's just try and do it this way.
Let's be famous instead. Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was in my head. I don't know. I think the videos for me personally were a way for me to just get whatever was in my head out, because I was in that hospital for a long, long time, and you only allow visitors for like an hour a day.
Do people still access those videos now? The people
yeah, they're still online. The people still go there, and I still get amputees buzz me and say, listen, that's really helpful. Like simple things like the physiotherapy. In England, you can lose your leg, and I don't think you do physio for about a month, maybe 2 months, where they have to book you in somewhere with the NHS and whatever. In Tenerife, the day after my amputation, they come and check that I was all right, gave me a morphine drip and all that. And then the day after that, a woman come up and said, come on then, we're going to go do physio now. And my first video of me doing physio was me with a morphine drip doing the movements on the floor. So that helps. And that helps other people now, because people know now that you haven't got to wait to get a physio. You can literally just do these things on your floor in the house, and they are there online to show you exactly what to do. Leg curls, forward curls, back curls, whatever. They're all online.
And that is how you turn an adversity into an asset. So you've done a good job there, mate.
There we go. There it was. And then not so much that as well. It helped me with everything that I did in life. My DJing and my singing, my entertainment was made extra special because I had a leg cover that I'd got from an American company who'd watched the videos and sent me one. And it was brilliant. And I thought, how can we make that a little bit better? And I put LEDs in it. So it lit up. So when I was on stage, my leg was lit up. And when I was walking down the street, you could see it from a mile away. And people are like, why have you done that? And I'm like, because for some reason, I want people to know that I've got a leg. I don't want it to be like a hideaway thing. There's a lot of people that I spoke to, the amputees that I speak to, they're like, oh, do you know, I like to hide my leg away. Or they pay extra money to have these legs that look like real legs, but they never look like a real leg. In fact, it'll draw focus more because it's so off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, my personal thing was like, listen, show it. Let's just show it off. Put some lights in it. Show it really. Let's really go for it. And do you know what I mean? That's what I wanted to do. And I did that with my singing, my DJing. Every time I was on stage, it's got lights in it. It lights up.
So a question for you, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Would you get your leg back?
Do you know what? That's a hard question because there's nothing that I can't do now with the prosthetic leg. So I don't need my leg back, if that, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not as if like, oh, there's something I can't do. There's something I miss doing because I can do everything. But sometimes, you know, when I need to take a piss and I had to get up and put my leg on, it's strenuous. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as if I can just jump up and go and take a piss. Do you know what I mean? I've got to get up.
So you think about getting your leg back now. What about, okay, let me ask a better question. Would you go back and not take that motorbike ride?
No. I think it changed my life.
The journey that you've been on.
Yeah. It changed my life for the better. It made me realise I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. And it helped a lot of people. And I think, more than anything, I think that's the best. I think I don't know if you agree with me. I think that's what we're here to do. I don't know. It feels right when you help somebody else. It feels right when you spread positivity and you get that positive vibe back.
Well, you put it really simply earlier. Is like, I lost my leg and I made Tenerife happy. I mean, I think that really sums it up.
Do you know what I mean? There it is. Do you mean that makes me feel a certain way? And even now, coming out of the Big Brother house, I've had people say, oh, it was great to see an amputee on Big Brother. Even though I'm sure there has been an amputee on Big Brother before, and I'm sure he got the same thing, but it was great to see an amputee on Big Brother.
I don't know if they have, you know. I mean, I used to watch it quite a lot. I mean, I definitely missed a lot of the middle.
I'm sure there was one on an American one. There was definitely an amputee on an American one, so I think he won it.
Right, okay.
But I'm sure there was one. I'm sure somebody said there might have been one. I'm sure he was in the army or something.
Okay.
But yeah, for this one, I'm happy. The idea was for this one, they kept asking me, why do you want to go on Big Brother? So that people who have got amputations or children who lose their legs in accidents and whatever can look at me and think, okay, I don't have to limit myself to think, oh, I'm not going to take the chance of that audition. Do you know? I'm not going to give that a go.
Yeah.
I want people to, do you know what I mean? Just know, listen, give it a go. Do what you got to do. And I think me and Kerry did that this year with her MS and my amputation.
Yeah.
And there it is. And that was what it was for, do you know?
So how did that feel from being that positive? Because we kind of gone sort of full circle now. We've explored the sort of negative side of the Big Brother, and then, you know, this positive, I want to help people, and then you coming out to booze. So now it kind of makes more sense for people listening. So how did that? Let's go back to how that felt, because that must have been quite confusing. Because I know you said you kind of like a bit like, what? But was your idea to go in there and sort of share that positivity again and be that person again, and then
So my thing was to share the positivity and to really show people that you can wear your leg every day. Now this is just a thing for amputees, okay? Sometimes it's uncomfortable when you wear your leg a lot. Now I was trying to wear my leg. Do you mean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Do you know what I mean? I literally only took it off when I went to sleep, and it was a test for myself. And I wanted to see if I could do it, and it turns out you can do it. 4 weeks in there, I only had one problem with my leg, which was a bit of a sore where I'd wore the wrong sock inside, which caused a bit of a sore. But yeah, the idea was to show people, because I know myself when I first thought about amputation, what can and what I can't do. How long can I wear this leg for? Especially when you first start, it's a weird feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like your limb changes shape all the time. It's hot, it's cold. It changes shape. You lose weight, you eat, whatever. I need to know if you could do this in the Big Brother house. And there it is. Do you know what I mean? That was one of the reasons. You can do it. You can wake up every day, you can put your leg on, and you can do all the tasks that they set you to do. They put a lift in that house, and I think me and Kerry used them like once. I never used a lift. I think Kerry used it once.
All right.
So
how did she get up there?
It was a It was she walked up the stairs when she needed to.
Right.
But I think, as I said, when she only used it once, she can walk.
I didn't realise she was okay.
She can walk. Yeah,
I thought
she can walk.
She sort of got a wheelchair.
No, Kerry can work. She's painful for her sometimes.
And she's lovely.
But when she needed to,
she
she's
messaged
awesome.
me recently.
Yeah,
And she was like,
she's
she
awesome.
watched my documentary. So
she's one of the people that I talk to the most out of the house. Actually, yeah. I think she used it once. But yeah, they make allowances. They do everything. They've got a team on standby for you if you want to have a go on these sort of things. Any amputee out there, I've got to get this all across. Any amputee out there suffering any sort of above the knee, below the knee, whatever it is, give it a go. Just give it a go. It's been done now.
Give what a go?
Give Big Brother a go. Give TV a go. Give anything you want to go. Do you know what? Anything, not just that. Give anything a go. Don't sit around, because the amount of people that I spoke to who said, this is back when I was doing the videos, they were like, I don't know how you stay so positive, mate. Do you mean there were people, this is before while I was going for the amputation, you won't be positive soon. Do you know what I mean? You'll find out that this and that and this and this and this and that. And I was like, mate, that's not going to happen to me. You know, you are being negative and that's holding you back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you that it's your negativity that's holding you back. It's nothing to do with the amputation. Yeah. You're not trying. Do you know what I mean? You need to want to get up. You need to want to get out. You need to want to put your leg on. You need to, do you know what I mean? These sort of things. So give it a go.
I can see you being an amputee coach. Have you thought about that?
I've spoke to the amputees with a charity called Steel Bones. I went down and did things like that. One of my favorite charities, that one is. It actually helps the families of the amputees with bills and whatnot. You know, if these legs are expensive, they're not cheap. The NHS will give you a leg. Don't get me wrong. NHS give you a leg.
You don't want to wear it.
Yeah, no. This is an NHS leg, but you have to be proper on them. You have to go, listen, I'll walk around and do things. I need a proper leg, because they will give you a stick. Do you understand? They will give you the most bog standard foot they can, unless you actually put your thing across. Listen, I need a leg to do some movement in and whatever, and then they will eventually give you one. But when it comes to a running blade, like I've got a prosthetic running blade to buy that myself, you're looking at like £8,000.
Really? Wow. It's quite exciting with like biotech and sort of AI and the way we're going though, because I guess, you know, you've got 30, 40, 50, who knows, years, you know, ahead of you being able to walk.
Yeah.
What technology will be available then? You probably get a leg that's better than a human one.
Yeah. Well, I've seen some feet that look better than human ones at the minute. There's literally one that I've seen the other day, and it looks like a foot from Terminator, which is what I've always wanted.
Really?
It looks like a Terminator foot, and I thought that would be awesome. I would rock that out of the shoe constantly all the time. Yeah. But yeah, it is looking good for the technology when it comes to amputees, 100%, and the style as well. I think it's coming more around now that people want to get their leg out, and there are a lot of companies out there that do fancy covers. They're stickers and that go on your thing. You can wrap the top of your leg. You know, you can have it chrome. You can have it all sorts now. So yeah, it is becoming a bit of it is becoming a bit of a fashion thing now as well, which is great because some people are born without legs. Do you know what I mean? So why not?
Yeah,
why not add some fashion to it as well? Do you know what I mean?
Nice. So I've got a couple of cliche questions you probably ask all the time, but people probably wanting to answer them, and I want to ask them as well. So how did it feel when you first woke up and you'd obviously had your leg amputated and it was gone? Right,
so that is actually purely on video, that is. I literally picked the camera up and did that, so I remember exactly what I said. Okay. I said, right, this is the first time I'm going to look at it, because the bedcloth was over, the blanket was over my leg, and I'd lie in there. And I could see straight away that there's a gap where my leg's supposed to be, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, right, let's have a look what it's going to look like first time. And I pulled it back, and it looked and felt how I thought it was going to look. And no, I tell a lie. It looked how I thought it was going to look. The feet, I thought I was going to be scared, and I wasn't. It was just like, okay, this is something to deal with now. Do you know what I mean? Okay, this is done. Do you know, it's one of them. Do you know what I mean?
A bit of a relief.
Sort of, yeah. The pain is on another level. Right, even with the stuff they give you, as soon as you move it about, the pain is on another level. Right. The weirdest thing about the whole experience is phantom foot pains.
I was going to ask you next. That was what I was going to ask you.
Which I actually still have now. Now, this is the interesting thing about phantom foot pains. Apparently, they never go away. Now, you don't realise it, okay? You know, if I'm not thinking about it, I don't feel my foot. But as soon as I start speaking about it, like I am now, speaking about it, now I can feel my foot. And I can feel my toes.
Can you move your toes?
No, I can't move them. It's like it's stuck in hot wax.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. It just feels like you can't move them. Luckily for me, my phantom foot pains are not too bad. I do get cramp in the foot that I haven't got anymore, which is really annoying sometimes. Like, you know how bad it is when you get cramp in your toe? I get cramp in my toe and I can't uncramp it.
Yeah,
you have to just rub around on the limb to try and sort that out.
Yeah, mentally
No, because
trick your brain.
I think there are some sort of nerve endings that are still inside whatever my limb here. So giving it a rub and moving it about a little bit does uncramp my foot, funnily enough.
I reckon
I don't know if that's a mental thing or...
Yeah, I reckon it's probably a combination of some sort of brain message that's, there.
But that's been, 2017? What are we in? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So it'd be 7 years in September. And I could, mate, it's 6 years now. I can still feel the foot.
Yeah,
Unless...
I can kind of see though. I mean, because you've obviously had like 30 years or whatever of having it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
You might have another. I hope not. But you might have another 27 or whatever of getting used to it not having it.
Yeah, but that's something that
so
happens.
there's nothing, you can't take any tablets for a phantom pain either, can you?
No, they give you something called pregabalin, which is a nerve damage pain relief. But I only really took that when I first knew that I was going in the house, because I was like, right, I'm definitely gonna have to wear my leg every single day, and that takes a while to get into your system. So about a month before, I was like, right, because you're supposed to take it daily, but if you're not wearing your legs all the time, you don't need to take it. It makes you feel like a bit. So I didn't. Month before I went in, started taking it every day, and that helps with the pain. It's more the nerves. They get squashed together in inside your foot here, and it's moving about. And as I said, it changes shape throughout the day. When it's hot, when you're cold, if you're running, if you're not running, do you know what I mean? Whatever's happening, it's changing shape, and sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's just loose and annoying. So yeah, pregabalin they give you for that. But the phantom foot pain, never going away.
What other sort of interesting or unexpected things did you learn through this whole journey?
The Big Brother journey or the whole amputation journey in general?
Life.
To be honest with you, what I said to you before, with how positivity and being positive and helping other people through something that you've been through makes you feel good. And I think it is.
That's what we're talking about, Villain Dylan.
Yeah,
So how did that come around? Like, you went in there wanting to I'm going to be this spokesperson for positivity, and you came out as Villain Dylan. So
so I spoke about my amputation quite a lot in there, and the journey that I took, and I spoke about the videos that I made and the people that I've helped, and none of that was
They cut it all out.
Yeah, and nothing was shown. The same with Paul as well.
I guess they don't have they used to have back in the day, the E4 Live. Do you remember?
No, they do. They have the live.
They have the live.
It was on 2 hours live after the Big Brother talk show bit. It was live for like 2 or 3 hours a night.
So maybe a lot of people.
But they had things like bird noises and stuff like that. Now I was told why by the producers why they did it, because every time we'd spoken about it, it was the same with Paul as well. Paul was a massive advocate for mental health, and the reason why none of it went in, or it was covered with bird noises, is because when we were talking about it, we'd usually put somebody's name in it, and they can't have us talking about people.
Can't they just bird noise out the name?
Well, yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you? But they didn't. They just bird noise out the whole conversation, or they just cut it out. Well, I don't know.
Why would you put an amputee in and not let them talk about?
It's very strange, isn't it? But I don't know if that's they didn't want it to be like go in my favour. I don't know. Do you know, feel sorry for him because he's an amputee? Maybe one of them things.
Do you know what? I don't know. Sorry if this comes out the wrong way. It feels almost like they used you a little bit, to put you in, but didn't want you to actually have a voice. Yeah, to say, there's an amputee in there, but we're not going to let him speak about it. Do you know what? I think about that all the time. I do. I think about it all the time. Because obviously these days, like, for example, I watched the Harry Potter and the musical, the new one, the...
Cursed Child.
Exactly, yeah. And Hermione was a black girl.
Okay.
Now, no problem with that. I mean, it's cool, but it's obviously now they would have deliberately done that.
Yeah.
Because we need to introduce more black people into it. Completely cool. No problem with it whatsoever, of course. I'm going to get in some real trouble.
Yeah.
But it's obviously we have to do this to be able to form this diverse group. So do you think maybe that was an element of it? But then they actually didn't want to bring... didn't want to bring attention to the fact that they were doing that.
Yeah.
It's not like, for example, they went, Harry Potter, Hermione's black. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
She just was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it?
Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. It was weird though, because I think one of the first episodes when we were outside speaking, somebody told me about it. It was like, there was 4 of us outside. It was me, Matty, Zach, and Paul, and we was going around talking about ourselves. And Paul talked about him. Vac said blah, blah, blah. And as it comes to me and I was about to talk about amputation, the credits rolled. So...
What about Karen with MS and stuff like that?
Kerry.
Kerry
Yeah,
with
Kerry with MS. Yes. So I don't think they showed her talking about it much in the house. I don't know because I haven't watched it back.
Right, true, yeah.
And I don't think Kerry shares much of Big Brother on her things. So I don't know. Right. I don't know what they showed of Kerry. I know
maybe
they didn't show anything of Paul.
Watch back. Maybe play it a bit more.
They didn't show anything about Paul's talking about mental health, and they didn't show anything about me talking about amputation.
How do you know they didn't? If you didn't watch it, just from the feedback.
Just from the feedback, because obviously when we came out, me and Paul came out at the same time, and Paul was branded a bully, and I was branded the villain. Like, do you know?
I didn't even know you was an amputee. There's like, what? Are you joking?
No, the best bit. No.
All the shots were just above
the best bit of it. No, this is the best one that I heard. Okay, so there was a part. Okay, we'll go into it. Right, there was a part at Halloween where I had been put up for eviction by these two ladies that were in the house, Noki and another girl who shall remain nameless. And I came out pissed off, right? Yeah. Okay. And I said, what's with all the black on black crime? Right? Yeah. Now, I said that not only to kind of like diffuse the situation, have a joke about it, whatever, but I said it because the young lady that I'm talking about, her whole thing was like, black people are getting treated unfairly and that we should be sticking together and blah, blah, blah. So I said it like, what's with all the black on black crime? And that was what made me the villain, by the way, that's saying that. Now, the funny thing about that, okay, is people were saying, I didn't even know Dylan was black until he said that, or he said that. People thought, I didn't even know he was black. I didn't even know he was black. So was it that I wasn't black enough to say that? Because I don't think what I actually said was a problem. Like, I said, what's with all the black on black crime? But I don't know why everybody hit the roof about it, really. So I was like, okay, I said what I said. But, you know, in context of what was going on, what was with all the black on black crime? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it is dangerous territory.
But it's a different world now, isn't it? It's a completely different world now, and I understand. But I had not eaten properly for 2 days, and I was, do you know what I mean? Everybody was completely tired. This is the very end of Halloween. Like, we'd been sat on that couch for all day, going up and down, doing all these sort of things. The food had ran out 2 days before. They gave us a bag of pasta and a tin of kidney beans, right? That's all we had to eat for that day. So tempers were up there. Do you know what I mean?
Happened that day?
So no, it was Halloween, and I knew anyway because he kept saying one of you will not survive. I was like, right, someone's going today. Someone's been evicted or whatever. And it turned out that the two girls had put up me, Kerry, and Olivia up for eviction, and the public had to vote us out, and that was it. And then Kerry ended up going on that night. And I came back in and I said, wow, what's with all the black and black crime? And then that ensued an argument with the one that shall remain nameless. Now, the argument went off, and the argument was bad. Obviously, me shouting at a girl, that was where the villain part came from. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so have you not looked at, so what opinions have people given back about why they found that so offensive?
Well, they haven't really. That's the thing. You see, people
just hear it go, oh,
yeah,
exactly.
Black. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, how dare he say black on black crime when there's so much... I think one of the things was, how dare he say it when there was actual black on black crime in the real world? Well, I wasn't in the real world. I was on a TV show, and I didn't... To me, I'm not thinking about what's going on outside. At that point in time, when you're in that big of a house, the real world doesn't even exist. People don't understand that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't see anybody else. You don't talk to anybody else. You've got no contact with anybody else. The real world doesn't even exist. You are somewhere else when you're in that house.
The cameras are there.
Yeah, completely forget the cameras there. Do you know what I mean? It was just, I said it to diffuse the tension, and I just said it because of whatever. I don't even know why I said it.
Do you remember like Jade Goody back in the day? I think she used to say.
Oh mate, there's been some way worse things. Mate. There's been way worse things. Like what I said,
back in the day, people would find that funny.
Yeah, I've said it, and I had to come out and apologise for it, and I apologise for it completely. But thinking about it, like really thinking about it, I'm like,
hang on a minute.
Do you know what I mean?
Maybe
like,
it was just,
what is the actual problem with what I said?
Not anything else to go off, so you were the only person to...
But there it is. That's exactly what it is. It was blown way out of proportion. Way out of proportion, and then that villain thing came around. I understand the way I handled the argument with the woman who will not be named wasn't the best way to do, but do you know what I mean? Again, I'm a human being. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't eaten properly, I hadn't slept properly, and I was just angry, do you know what I mean? And I wasn't... people are going on like, oh, you were a proper abuser. It was a two-way argument. She started calling me names. I started calling their names.
Sort of people
it went forward and backs.
Going like pissed off about it. White people or black people or both?
No, a bit of both, really. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of both. It's not.
I'm just trying to think of if someone said, "What's all the white on white crime about?"
Well,
it wouldn't really make
funnily enough, this person actually had a tweet that said white on white crime and actually put out in November of 2022. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
White on white crime. Yeah, that makes sense. I think people just like to fucking
moan, it was over the top. Nobody cares about it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, nobody cares about it now. Seriously, the followers that I've got, everybody's, do you know what I mean? Nobody's like, oh, you know what I mean? You did really well on Big Brother. I thought you held yourself well and all this sort of stuff and all that. That is such a minor part of the 4 weeks I was there. It was like literally 60 seconds of...
You're like, I got my fucking leg chopped off. I've sat there for 3 months. I made Tenerife happy, and fucking 4 seconds of quite a fair statement.
Yeah,
I'm a fucking villain.
You're trying to tear my life apart here. It's like, you're ridiculous. You know what I mean? But
that's the population for you.
But yeah,
especially people that watch those sorts of shows. I mean, they are the sort of people that like to just cause shit, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. X is not the place to be if you've been on that. But I apologise. I came out and I said, all right, I'm sorry for saying it. But as I think about it, I'm like, do you know, I said it.
Take it back.
No, I don't take it back. I regret the argument itself. I shouldn't be shouting at girls, obviously. But it's just, it was a high, what is it? When it's...
High testosterone, I'm thinking, but she's a girl.
It's a high pressure environment.
Yeah.
You're in a cooking pot, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Things are going to come out your mouth they're not supposed to.
Probably why they probably didn't put me in there.
100%, yeah. 100%,
Should we get a psycho and then prod and poke and psychologically torture
just see what
him for months on end?
Just see what happens.
Just to let you know, if you're watching now, Celebrity Big Brother producers, I am fine. I'm calm. I'm up for it.
He takes lessons now to breathing and he's got chi.
I will kill them after the show.
But yeah, there it is. It's a high pressure pot. It's a pressure pot at the end of the day, and it came out my mouth. And I apologise for it. And if people are offended, I apologise, okay? That's fair enough. But I come from a black family. I live with my black family. A lot of people online are like, oh, he was raised by his white mother. That's what came across. And it was like, well, actually, I live with my black grandma and my black father. I didn't live with my mother. So, you know, try and get your facts straight before you start coming at me with this bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's, that's pretty much...
So that
was the villain thing. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Like,
but it didn't phase you too much. You're still a positive guy.
No, not at all. No. I mean, if people who believe that is the version of me, then do you know what I mean? You carry on thinking that. Obviously, anything you've seen on that TV program that's doesn't show anybody's real side. It's an edited TV program. Do you know what I mean?
Well, for example,
it's edited for entertainment,
documentary, right? And I've been called a psychopathic cult leader that's out to manipulate and steal people's money. But what do you think of me now?
I love you.
I love you too.
No.
But it's a different...
it was funny because I watched it and I seen that woman at the end. She was like, is it a cult? And then the other one was like, if it is, I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a cult. No, I think you're out here just trying to do what you do best. And I think coaching, as you said, I could be a good amputee coach. If you can help people, then help people.
Yeah, that's
do you know what I mean? That's what it is, isn't it?
You, trying to get money from you. Like, I'll stay your
Yeah, I'm not going to pay for the coaching program. I'll take one for free.
So influencer is a job. There you go. You lost your argument.
There we go.
So tell us what's in the future for you. I know you're obviously working on your music career, but
music is what is in the future for me. I am a very normal type of guy. If anything comes up when in a few months' time when people are like, oh, would you like to come on this TV program or maybe a bit of catchphrase or something? Then I would love to go and do something.
Milk it while
I'd love to go and do something like that. Music. I'm a DJ at heart. I've been a DJ since I was 15 years old, and I will be DJ until I die, hopefully. You know, music is what I'm doing this year. As I said, I'm working with DJ Look and MC on the Massive Attack track, which I'll give you. You can stick it on the.
Let's listen to it.
You can stick it on. You can stick it on the old thing at the end, so you can have a dance to it.
Yeah.
That's like a pre-release version.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm working with Red Rum Music on a track, which is actually about the evils of social media, funnily enough, because she obviously came out and said, listen, why are you bullying? It's about social media and how it's a little bit messed up. So
you're going to be slagging off that?
No. I'm not about slagging anybody off.
This track?
No. I thought about it, but no. Do you know one of them?
Sit there for 6
I
months
actually
in
thought
quiet.
about that. I thought, well, I would never let that. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't bother me at all. Do you know what I mean? I've got no problem with her whatsoever. She needs to understand I have no problem with her. I just don't want to be associated with her. Do you know what I mean? No one has a problem with her. Just leave me out of your mouth. Do you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
But yeah, music. Definitely music. The music with Red Room is about social media. So it is about what's going on in the world with social media and how we should put out. It's called Put Your Phones Down and Let's Get Hype. So that should be it. It's an intending one. It should be good for the summer. It's like a summer banger.
Nice.
DJ Look at MC is a retake of Massive Attack's unfinished Sympathy. So that's like a newer version of that with myself and Neat on the MC and Leon on the vocals from Scott and Leon. And whatever comes next, I've got another track. DJ Perry Martin sent me over a track the other day as well. So I just, everybody just keeps
And are you still off
send these
to
little bits.
Tenerife and Ibiza and stuff to do?
Ibiza this year,
Yeah.
2024 Ibiza 100%. I didn't go last year and it felt weird not being there for my birthday and whatnot. So yeah, I will be
Different coming back
definitely.
as a celeb now as well.
I don't know about celeb, but yeah, you know.
Well, 3 million viewers, mate. It's a lot.
I know, yeah. But
Try and see that in a stadium.
I hate calling myself a celeb though. You know what it is? Like, oh, I'm a celeb.
Well,
now.
you have to be an influencer then, and that's something that you don't believe in.
No, I believe in influence. I just don't think it's a job.
Right. Okay. It's true. So you're an influencer, but you're actually a musician. That's your job.
I'm a DJ. There we go. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah, a producer, whatever. There it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, music definitely. Ibiza 100%. You will find me either in Lineker's or Ithaca, and if I can squeeze a little set in an O Beach, then I will. Do you know what I mean? That's always been a dream of mine to actually get on the O Beach, and maybe with the Big Brother thing, they might let me get into. I've been in O Beach Lounge, never actually been in the actual O Beach thing, so maybe this year they might let me in.
Nice. Go on. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Where can people find you? Instagram, is it a main place?
Yeah, Instagram's my main spot. It is an Amputee Abroad, and the same on YouTube, an Amputee Abroad, and yeah, there you go. Instagram and YouTube. Oh, and TikTok, an Amputee Abroad. All the
Nice.
same.
You have turned your adversity into... I know that's the old fucking name.
Try again, bro.
No, you have turned your adversity into an asset, but you have been an amazing guest on Adversities 2 Assets. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
man.
pal.
Cheers, bro.
Good. I like it.